Hello, you're watching The Form. We're back for another week where we preview the best races over the weekend, and Te Rapa will be taking centre stage as we concentrate on the Waikato hurdles and the steeple. So in studio this time is Bevan Sweeney, Leith Innocent. Beaming in from the Hamilton studio is Aidan Rodley. And here's what we're going to be discussing on the show. We'll start with the Waikato feature, our jumps preview over the hurdles and the steeples. Then heading to the flat races out of Te Rapa, the best on the program there. As usual, our racetrack is for you to follow. The Trentham preview, highlighted by the Parliamentary handicap. Heading off to Eagle Farm again for the Kiwis in Australia, featuring Mary Shan and geriatrics, and our best bets to round out the show. Well, as I mentioned, we're heading off to Te Rapa this weekend as our feature meeting. So, Leith, hello to you. What's our weather and track looking like this weekend?
Yeah, Pip, look, I talked to Andrew Castles this morning, and the track's actually a heavy 8 at the moment. The weather's not that great at the moment, high of 15 today. The rail's in the true position though, but maybe on Friday they're looking at maybe 20 to 30 mils of rain, so that'll sort of push it back out to that 30, sort of a heavy 10.
There you go, it's a real heavy track. It seems to be the way on the weekend. So let's have a look at our first feature, race number 2. It is the Waikato Hurdle. Bury the Cash, a favourite at $2.40 from Nedwin at $2.90. And then you've got English Glamber at $5.50. Let's go back to Bury the Cash, and this was at Woodville. Obviously beats the likes of Lord Spencer here in Country Bumpkin, Leith, but boy, he was just too good. Yeah,
he's just too good, Pip, like you said. Look, Portia Matthews, she's got a really good record with this horse. She's won it 4 times from 8 rides and 3 placings, so look, she knows the horse super well, and geez, he's impressive, isn't he?
Oh, he's absolutely flying on the evidence of that, probably on better track conditions than his absolute perfect sort of spot as well. He was soft at the line. Look, Lord Spencer's a little bit disrespected in this market against a horse like English Gambler, who I know can win this race if he puts up his best performance, but geez, hit and miss. Lord Spencer's going well, but Bury the Cash clearly in fine fettle, and maybe even going better, Aidan, than last season when he kicked some pretty big goals.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got those runs on the board now, and especially with the hurdle run under his belt. That's his edge maybe over Ned Wynn, and that he did win that Awapuni hurdle in good style. He's only half a kilogram worse in against Lord Spencer this time round. Here's I think the benchmark horse, Ned Wynn, who's got the runs on the board at Te Rapa. That's key. He's won 3 of 5, including last year's Waikato hurdle, which we're having a look at now. We went on to win a Grand National at this track as well. He's had 2 runs under his belt. He won both of those last year, or certainly the most recent of those at Trentham at least. So maybe not going as well on the flat, but back to hurdling, he's just a jumping top. I find him really hard to beat.
Yeah, but 73 kilos is a little bit of a question mark. Nick Downs is having his first ride on the horse as well, so look, he's short enough in the market, but you know, obviously he's been set for this race as well.
He's definitely an interesting runner, and Aidan's right. He did some pretty major things last season. He was going better on the flat leading into his jumping last year than he has been this preparation, but trainers know what they're doing, and he clearly is a very good hurdler. Country Bumpkin was interesting on the flat the other day. I thought there was a moment he was going to win at Oteki, but we just wait for him to go steeplechasing.
Well, let's hear from some connections now, and Aidan just asked Ned Wynn's jockey Nick Downs how he prepares and what his approach is for a big race like this.
Just enjoy it. He's a mean horse, and you know, he knows what he's doing. I'm just going to sit there and try and do the right thing.
Oh, look, he's capable of anything. He could win it, he could pull up, he could do, you know, we just don't know. If the right English Gambler turns up, he should be right thereabouts, but we just don't know.
Yeah, Lord Spencer's definitely an up-and-coming horse, so I'm really happy to pleased to be back on him. I'm very sorry for Chris to get off smack because he's another up-and-coming horse, lovely horse, but Lord Spencer was one of my favourites before him, and the long-term aim is probably go down Rickett, and if he performs well, and that's the aim, yeah.
Quite keen for that one, actually. He's had about a 3-week break since his last run. Been watching a few of Collins' runs on him and Collins' win on him, and yeah, hoping to get the same result.
Look, if he can run in the first 4, I'll be stoked. It's a good little field, but he just probably lacks a bit of class of the better jumpers.
I was a little bit disappointed with his run last week at Tierra. Stefan's sort of felt he couldn't get his feet out of the ground. It was quite a sort of tacky track, and didn't jump as good as he normally does, but yeah, he's come through the race well.
Yeah, so obviously that's a few of the key connections. I think you've got to go to the top of the book for the class runners here. So I've gone with Ned Wynn. I've put my faith in the Hastings combination of Nelson McDougall to have Ned Wynn ready for the return to jumping. I know it's a big weight, but he's well capable. I've got him on top. I'm picking him against you, boys.
Yeah, I'm on Bury the Cash. I think the Porsche Mashews, Tim Mills owned, Mark Olligan trained. I think it's a good combination. Good weight, 4 kilos off Ned Wynn. I think maybe just have the edge this week.
Yeah, it's a clash of a couple of the giants of the training ranks and the jumping game, isn't it, with the Hawke's Bay connection and Mark Olligan. But I'm going to go Bury the Cash. I think he's going better than last season. He's an honest horse. Te Rapa, it'll need to get further rain. That'll bring him right into it against Ned Wynn. So I'm going with the horse showing the best form in recent times and respecting Bury the Cash.
There you go, that's what the guys are liking in the Fairview Motors Waikato hurdles. We now move on to the Steeplechase. The Cossack is your favourite at $1.80. Is he my dad at $3.50? Then you've got Hey Happy as well in this market. Then getting out to the other runners at double figure odds like Password at $10. Let's go back to Is He My Dad in the Manawatu Steeplechase. This was at Woodville and obviously really took it to West Coast here up the home straight, Bevan.
He's a good, tough horse and he's being trained to get out to the real extreme distances. So he's going very well at this present moment. Look, you take a line through the champ there, beating him. You've got the Cossack, who is his equal, albeit beaten last year at Riccarton. He's a very, very respectable chance in this particular race. If the rain does come and it becomes very, very dark and deep and testing, then he comes into it. But there's one class act here.
Yeah, there certainly is. I've just got a little bit of a question mark over him. He's had 4 starts at Te Rapa and he's been unplaced all of the starts. So I'm not sure if he really enjoys the course. But there's only 6 runners, so he's got to be a top 3 chance.
And he will be bowling along too, won't he? It's a track where I think he'll be able to really set terms. Stephen Carnishnet, we'll hear from him very shortly, but I know he's really pleased with the way Is He My Dad's going. Good run at Woodville last time out, and his win prior at Wanganui was top rate. But as Bevan mentioned, there is one absolute standout horse here. He's just been a superb campaigner in steeplechase ranks in recent times, but even prior to that as a 9-win hurdler. Yeah, fresh up run, I think you just say, yep, nice fitness tune-up for him. He's got the big weight of 73, but back jumping and back to Te Rapa, where he's 5 from 7, would you believe? I think he's very hard to beat. Leith, what did you make of him?
Yeah, look, obviously Hamish McNeil's having his first ride over the jumps. He's ridden him twice over the high weights. So it's it's going to be a big thrill for Hamish because he's only a young sort of apprentice coming through the riding ranks as well. So it's a little bit of he'll be enjoying the moment, but he'll be under a little bit of pressure as well.
I think we're pretty privileged to be seeing West Coast and the Cossack together. They literally are champions, and you don't often see 2 in the same sort of 5-year period. He's a champion. You saw him win that race last season. Weight, it is a big impost, but he can carry it. He's just class, and I expect him to be winning on Saturday. Pip?
Again, let's head out to connections now. And Aidan did catch up with Is He My Dad's jockey and just asked him how he thinks the horse is going leading into the race.
Well, he's been really consistent the last couple of years, and he's making the big boys sweat. Yeah. He's keeping them honest. Yeah, we haven't got West Coast this time, but the Cossack's turning back up, so it's not getting any easier. I think if he gets the first one right, he finds a nice rhythm. If he doesn't get it right, he still goes past everyone and gets to the lead. You can't do much about that, but yeah, I think he's a chance.
Colin got the win on him to start 4 last, and I don't know, he just looks like a decent ride, and pretty keen to get out there and ride him. Yeah.
There's no West Coast, so you got Is He My Dad and the Cossack, obviously. I think the big challenges in that one. Yeah, he's still everybody's got a chance in that.
Yeah, he's pretty low key, isn't he, Nick Downs? But obviously the yardstick horse here is the Cossack. Love the fact he's at Te Rapa where he goes so well. Returns after one pipe opener on the flat, and I think he'll be ready to go. The Cossack on top for me, guys. Leith, who'd you go with?
Yeah, I'm with you as well. Obviously the Cossack is $1.80 over the jumps, a little bit short, but look, Hamish McNeil would be excited. I don't know if he'd be sleeping much on Friday night, but I think he'll be winning Saturday.
Rinse and repeat on with the Cossack. I think Thad's whole day might depend on what happens with the Cossack. He'll be running through pretty much 95% of the multis come Saturday. So if he wins, they'll be under a bit of pressure, and I expect him to do that.
There you go, everyone in agreement in the Signature Homes at Waikato Steeple. And don't forget too, out of Te Rapa, we do have the bonus cash in place. If you don't find the winner in the first 4 races, but you finish second or third or fourth, you have that bonus cash coming your way. And the first race from Te Rapa gets underway on Saturday, nice and early, trackside 1. We're going to continue with our Te Rapa preview, but this time change tact and head to the flat races, starting with race number 4, the Mike Stent Decorators, and Babylon Berlin heads back to the races at 3:20 from Caitlin's Wish at 4:20, and then you've got Highlighter in the market at $5 along with Johnny and Dusty Road. Let's go back to our favourite Babylon Berlin at Trentham. What did you make of her here, Bevan?
I thought she was okay. Now, it was very much a leader-dominated race, and Bold Bell is very quick off a forward position, and they decided to take a trial. We Will Rock, well, he just hangs down the straight there to Trentham, so you don't really get a good guide out of him. I thought she attacked the line okay late, but it wasn't a run to me that suggests she'll win next up.
No, obviously it was a bit of a fitness run as well. But, you know, she was a class field, of that field she was a class filly, and she sort of held her ground okay, but you think she's going to have to improve. She gets back to Te Rapa, she loves the track there though.
It was an interesting sort of movement to have her there as well. When she turned up there, I thought, what's exactly going on here? And she probably ran up to the market drift as well, which was interesting. Aidan, what did you make of Babylon Berlin?
I didn't think she was too bad, especially when we saw We Will Rock emerge from that and win next time round. So I thought her run was every bit as good as We Will Rock's. Yeah, second up, and it's just it's been a tricky time. Obviously, she's been through a few issues, especially the issue around her eye, which had her in a box for quite some time. And it's just meant that if they want to keep her going, don't want to get mares too fat over this sort of time, you've got to bring her back into work. And it's just meant she's here, probably not at the right time for her, especially since she's not going to Australia. They'll probably just want to sort of bide their time and then look at sort of railways and things next year. So she does need to improve. Apprentice rider who's only having his 3rd ride aboard, but he's come up against Johnny. Well, Babylon Berlin, she has on 5 occasions and beaten it every single time. So that might be some sort of stat. We do take you back to Pukekohe. We watched Johnny work on yesterday morning, on Wednesday morning at Cambridge. He's flying. So he's going okay. Just had a really taxing run here. Highlighter very good, and Caitlin's Wish is going really well. It's a tough race to assess here, Leith. How did you see it? Yeah, look, obviously it's a really good sprint race for the middle of winter. Johnny, I just put a line for that last run. Nothing went right. He was slow out, then he made a big searching run and he died on his run, so it was probably better than it looked. Obviously the form's good. Caitlin's Wish won at Wanganui as well, so yeah, and Highlighter was well ridden to win.
Highlighter gets him with a featherweight as well, right down the bottom of the handicap with the claim, and I see this race being run pretty similarly with a lot of tempo, and once Highlighter gets in good form, really holds its form through. So I'm pretty keen on Highlighter to get that nice suck run again here, and further rain won't hurt Highlighter. Pretty keen around the 550 around Highlighter pit. Yeah, definitely. As we also got Dusty Road in the race too, Leith, who finished second last time in Gospodin. That pretty good form leading in. Yeah, he's going super. He's underrated, this horse. Look, Cameron Moki, he only trains the run horse in work. But look, this horse is an underrated horse. He never goes a bad race. Look, this is a Group 1 winner, Pierre outside him. So, it was a pretty good first up run. Oh, he's a good horse, make no doubt about that. Just how he fits into the speed map is interesting for me, whether he can find that forward position with Johnny. I suppose Johnny missed away last time, so there might just be that spot clear for a Dusty Road. Look, as Aidan mentioned, and we'll come back to you, Aidan, it's pretty hard to assess exactly how this race is going to pan out, because as far as winter sprinters go, we've got a pretty good lineup for this time of year. Yeah, exactly. Like Babylon Berlin and Johnny ran second and fourth in the Group 1 Railway going back to last season, so or last year. So yeah, it's a really good race. I really like Dusty Road from what I saw there. By all accounts, he's trained on superbly well. He's run so close in a ritual mile, so I don't think there's any problems if he handles the track okay, which might be some concern, but he's got a decent heavy track record. I think he's actually the horse to beat. He's on top for me. There you go, it's looking pretty open. Well, let's see if the connections can sway us, and we'll start with Ryan Foote, and Aidan just asked him how Babylon Berlin's come on from that Trentham run.
Oh, her coat's started glowing more. She's tucked up a little bit, which is what we want to see. She did have a lot of condition on her down at Trentham. Not running since the railway. So yeah, she's tightened up, and she had a good blow yesterday, so that'll tighten her up a bit more.
Happy as I normally am with him. He's always, let's say 98%, never 100, but I'm super happy with him.
Her best form in Aussie, she can go well fresh. She's had a couple of jump outs. Didn't expect a horse like Babylon Berlin to be in the noms. She handles a wet track. She's been off the scene a while, so I would think she'll improve a little bit with the run.
Yeah, so a selection of grabs. I did speak to Ryan Foote this morning, and he said basically if that track gets back into the really heavy range, and as Leith said earlier on, there is a fair bit of rain coming, especially Friday and sort of late tonight, Thursday night, then that might be a concern. She may not go around. I really do like what we've seen from Dusty Road, and I think he's a big improver and the horse to beat. Leith, who'd you go with?
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Johnny. He's going to be leading them for a long way up the straight. But yeah, I'm with you. Dusty Road, look, he never goes a bad race. I think he's going to improve from his Tiara run. Jasmine's won on him before. She's had 5 rides for a win and 3 placings, so she knows him well as well.
Might get the trifecta here because I'm going with the highlighter. Once this horse gets in form and gets wet track conditions, she really does find. I thought she was brilliant coming through them last start. So I'm expecting another good performance from an in-form stable in the O'Sullivan and Scott team.
Let's look at race number 4 now. Let's move on to race number 7 over the mile, the Bayon's Construction. And Little Bit of Love is looking for 5 straight at $2.40, Freeze Frame at $4. And then you've got Turn the Ace, who loves Te Rapa, the only other runner in single figures at $5. Let's take you back to Little Bit of Love when he did pick up his 4th win at Pukekohe in Aiden. This was a brilliant win. He came to the outside here and picked up the pacemaker in Wessex.
Yeah, absolutely. Really nice performance from a horse who just keeps on raising the bar. Every time that the stable have put a new challenge in front of this horse, boy, he's just kept on stepping up. Good to see Masa Hashizumi back as well. And the way he's going, no reason why he can't make it 5, Lee.
Yeah, it's going for 5 in a row. It's quite a feat for the O'Sullivan Scott stable. Like you said, he's flying. He meets a stronger field this week, but you've got to have him on your top 3 chances for sure.
I've got to be a top 3 chance. There's no doubt about that. Come a long, long way, this horse, in a very short period of time. So it's done a wonderful job. I think this horse has actually surprised the team from what they saw initially at home. Sit back and come around this particular field and win. It's going to be a tough thing to do. But I'm not willing to say it can't, but it's just not on top for me. Next we have a look at is Turn the Ace, and he's a freak here to Te Rapa. I think you can just forgive Wanganui. You go there, they're racing to the outside. Didn't really suit his pattern being on speed. He got squeezed up halfway down. A couple of really good wet trackers went past him, but you go back to Te Rapa, Leith, and he's just a different animal.
Yeah, well, he's had 12 runs for 6 wins at Te Rapa. He loves the place. Yeah, like you said, Wanganui was a sort of a forgive run as well. It was pretty testing. He had to get to the outside where it was a really testing run mile.
Yeah, they've actually gone with the apprentice. Donovan Cooper takes 3 off to 56.5, and that'll be the interesting facet to this, is just how Turn the Ace does cope with the apprentice. He's sort of seen, as you saw in that video when Opie Bosson was board, he does take a little bit of hard riding, but he is hard fit with 3 runs under his belt, so looks to be a key contender.
Well, let's see if the trainers again can give us some key information. We'll start with Andrew Forsman. Aidan just asked him how Turn the Ace has come through his last start.
He's doing great. He's an easy horse once he's up and going to keep up to the mark. So, yeah, back to Te Rapa always helps. Obviously, his ability to race on pace, I think, does help at that track. And, yeah, he seems to like it. And while there's races there, we'll keep running.
Going really well. She likes Te Rapa. She won a couple back there. Good field. It's a nice field for this time of year, but she'll have this run and then she'll go out. But she's had a good campaign and probably a really luckless campaign. Yeah, she'll get him very well up the weights. Push her right down. Look, you can expect if she draws well, gets the right run, track's okay, she's got to be thereabouts.
Yeah, potentially tricky race. We spoke there with the Forsman and Marsh stables, but yeah, I keep coming back to that track stat that the boys mentioned. 12 starts Te Rapa, 6 wins for Turn the Ace, gets that weight relief to 56.5. So if Donovan Cooper gets the right sort of run, then he's got to be hard to beat. Leith, which way do you go?
Yeah, I'm going to go freeze frame. Look, he loves the track as well at Te Rapa. He's won there twice before. He gets in with 55.5 kilos, and I think he was a little bit unlucky last start. Look, Kennedy on this week, barrier 7, they'll be sort of getting to the outside of that track as well by this time of the day.
Turn the Ace has been very kind to me at Te Rapa, and I think once all those logarithms kick in from the serious punters and they do their form around Te Rapa, I think the price is going to continue to crash in as we get closer to race start time. So if you want to have a bet on Turn the Ace, and you've been with him, he's been very kind to you, I'd suggest you get him pretty quick because I think come Saturday he's just going to sort of trickle in and end up running pretty short.
Yeah, or maybe take a same race multi with the Leith selection there, freeze frame, and that completes our look at Te Rapa. The first race from there again, 11:08 at Trackside 1 Saturday. That time again, our race trackers, horses or greyhounds that may have caught the eye. We'll start with you, Leith. Who have you found?
Yeah, I found with Michelle Bradley, train runner, no plan B. I think she had a plan A, and it's next Saturday at Ruakaka. This horse has gone from a sort of 87 rating, a strong quality field, quality time 1. It was a bit of a sort of fitness run, and look, he's going to be running next week in a rating 75 at Ruakaka. Home track, he's going to be awfully hard to beat.
I'm going with my best bet last weekend, Princess Ellie, drawn at a decent gate, first up over ground, got back last on the inside, ran I think the third fastest last 600 metres on the day over ground. Look, I think a tragedy beaten. The start went wrong, and that can happen. Solidify is a good horse, but I think this horse will be winning a decent race.
Okay, I'm going to take you to this week's racing. Only yesterday at Rickon. Look at this. This is a wow performance. A horse down the outside. It's a horse called Stash who jumped away on terms, but then got the head up, dropped back to last. It was about 3 lengths last. Got in behind a horse when starting to make the run, then drawn to the outside and produced this. Prior to this was had won 1 of 10, but that was a well performance at Riccarton yesterday.
Certainly was, and I'm going to take you to a dog that finished near last from that win, but this is Big Time Tractor in the blue rug. He just gets into a really good position running into this first bend, gets awkward on heels and pushes right off on the bend, but he beat Johnny Football in a trial 2 starts ago in a 26.05, and Johnny Football come out and beat Federal Infrared and made his way into the Waterloo Cup final. So a lot of form around this dog. He's in on Friday, and I think he'll pay a price. Big Time Tractor, third up, should be winning. Let's have a look at a summary. We're going for no plan B for Leith, Bevan's with Princess Ellie, Aiden's with Stash, and I'm with Big Time Tractor. Put them in your tracker or in your black book on the TAB website. Our other domestic meeting on the weekend is out of Trentham. So what's the weather and track doing in your neck of the woods, Bevan?
Not good. It's not going to be good. I think it's starting to rain Thursday evening. It's a heavy 10 at the present moment, and it's supposed to rain pretty consistently throughout Friday, and there's even rain on Saturday. So don't throw too much mud at me if we can't get too many winners for you on Saturday.
Speaking of mud, we're looking for mudders as we concentrate on our feature. It is the Parliamentary Handicap, this year sponsored by the Hallmark and Stone. And Prince Albie heads the betting joint with LJ at 340, along with Pride of Aspen, who have all been racing each other of late. And then you've got Semper Magico at $7.50. Let's take you back to Prince Albie scoring at Trentham. He beats Pride of Aspen here and Moroni as well, Bevan. Firstly, what did you make of Prince Albie?
Oh, he was very good. He was left in front a long way from home, so it was a really good effort to hold on. He's a good quality horse, and he's one that really won't mind the very wet track conditions this year as he gets a pretty decent sort of weight, even with the 3 kilos coming off at 57. Pride of Aspen probably had to take the inferior track, but had something to chase, and I thought he kicked back and found the line pretty strongly. So they don't meet massively different in the weights. He's a good horse, Prince Albie, and Pride of Aspen going very, very well.
Yeah, Pride of Aspen, he was in front past the post as well. So, look, he was probably in the ground that was just not quite as good as the outside. But there's, like you said, there's not much between them. Pride of Aspen, 54 kilos, it was probably well weighted.
Yeah, I thought the same. And there was a 2 kilogram swing in that direction as well. Plus, Prince Albie's had that last start run at Otaki. Just horses at this time of year, the heavy tracks do take a toll. I just a little bit wary about Prince Albie with, the 57 on the back on a really, really heavy track. He chases home LJ in the video we're just about to watch. LJ well, both of these horses were unlucky. Both of them, you know, you make a case for them being winning chances had things gone right. But I just think LG might just have more brilliance in, you know, he's a New Zealand Cup type horse on top of the ground, Leith. And, you know, I just want to wait for summertime when the big targets, the big money's up.
Yeah, it's interesting sort of runner this week. I sort of found him on top. Look, if he handles that really heavy track, I know he's only got the 1 kilo off his back with Lily Sullivan, so he's got 58.5, but he is the class horse of the race.
It's just hard to know. It's just hard to know exactly where Kevin is heading with LJ. I don't know if they're playing with him, but they say he jumps pretty well, and so if he gets to the jumping game, it's going to be pretty hard to beat wherever he does go. I just got a sneaking feeling there's bigger fish to fry than Saturday with LJ, but as you saw there, he was caught wide the entire race last time and probably should have won LJ. He's got all sorts of quality, and Aidan, we've always thought that he's a horse that could win a pretty big race in Australia as well, but hey, have you got an answer for me?
No, I haven't. He's going around in a Parliamentary where we thought maybe he could be a Sydney Cup type horse. You know, he's got that sort of class. So to see him running around in winter probably is some sort of surprise. But you know, he's going well. No knock on him. I'm going to go for the horse who was right alongside Prince Albie last time out in Pride of Aspen. Comes in 2 kilograms better. So yeah, going that way with the senior jockey on from the minimum, I think there's a lot of upside.
I think I'm with you. In fact, I know. Pride of Aspen is my top selection. I like the all-pleased factor. She does ride winter tracks very, very well, Lisa, and she's had a really nice purple patch of form as well, getting with the 54 against Prince Albie. I think Semper Magico is a major improver up over ground, and if it gets really, really wet, I think that'll really play into Semper Magico's hands, albeit Mark said on Saturday that it has had a muscle injury. So with Pride of Aspen, and LJ just might win.
Yeah, and Dummy we trust. I'm pretty sure LJ's in there to win this week. Look, he was desperately unlucky at Rotorua. I know 58.5 kilos, the heavy track. There's a little bit going against him, but I'm happy the odds surge at $3.90.
We'll jump into the 398 on LJ as we move on to race number 7 out of Trentham. Old Town Road heads the betting in the North Island Challenge Stakes at $4.80. Liffey at $5.50s in the market, as is Cha Cha Bar at $6, and Connor O'Kieran along with Rapa Baby. So really good open field as we have a look at some form, and we'll start with Tavi Courts in this Old Town Road and make time, and pretty good runs considering from Tavi Court where the 2 eventual first and 2 horses came from.
Yeah, exactly. The horses on the outside had a massive advantage. So you know, Old Town Road was super as well. He was going into it. Tavi Court was second up this time. So back to Wellington. Heavy track's going to really suit him, Sweens.
Pretty interesting there. It's like Jay Riddell sort of went, oh, I'm supposed to get to the outside. And then he went out there. Caitlin's obviously going well. Yeah, he'll improve with time, Old Town Road, because he's just that senior type. Of course, Tavi's Court does absolutely love a Wanganui. So it's a good form race for our winter sprinters, Aidan.
Yeah, it did lead to a few days on the sideline for Jonathan too, from memory, but the run of Tavi's Court, very good, like you say, in the worst part of the ground, and will be an improver second up, just so consistent right through his career. One who I thought really impressed resuming was Connor O'Kieran. Does back home Rocker Baby this day, a horse who is a toughen. Heavy tracks will be a lot sharper for this run. Rocker Baby's run had been going really well prior to that as well, but I'm liking Connor O'Kieran. Leith, your take on especially this key form leader?
Yeah, Rocker Baby, I thought she was just sort of tested at that sort of heavy tracker on 1,200 metres. It's 1,300 metres this week. Yeah, Connor O'Kieran was really good. Second up record's okay as well. He's won, you know, 1 from 6, so he'll strip a lot fitter than he did then.
He's a good horse. I'm not convinced on him here. 56 kilos, Lemmy Douglas aboard. I watched that replay back and it sort of reminded me of Bradman taking off at Wanganui and hitting the front a long way from home. He's going well. Clearly the second horse is going well. You'd expect him to prove second up where he is a winner. I'm going with Cha Cha Bar. I want to have a look at the replay of the trial. This is a horse that actually got beaten by Just Ask Me in the Open Eki Cup into second. So I imagine that is where Cha Cha Bar is going. Is the winner fresh up, goes brilliantly fresh. I think Ellie Sol's got a future. Fleming's to the outside here, Leith, who's a good horse as well, and waiting for a bit of rain, but it's hard to lead for 1,300 metres at Trentham fresh up, but the horse has that sort of record.
And he can swim, like he loves it heavy. Look, his fresh up record's good as well. Tina Egan will have him super fit for this race.
Geez, lovely trot from Fleming to and behind, wasn't it? But here's a horse who's got a terrific record, 6 of 20, and you know he's going to be in the mix here somewhere. I found it a really difficult race, pretty much like a couple of those open races at Te Rapa where it's fairly even. I've landed on Connor O'Keefe, and I just think there's the improvement there from the first up run. So Connor O'Keefe on top for me, but without a great deal of confidence. Bevan, where did you go?
Jar Jar Bar, I think Taina will have this one ready to go. Young Ellie Soul takes the 4 kilos off, so gets a nicely 54.5, which is after Cess Gates. It's drawn inside. They'll be moving to the outside of the track. I don't think there's any doubt about that with the amount of racing they've had at Trentham. Long way, 1,300 metres off the front, but I think Jar Jar Bar can achieve that.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tavi's Court. Second up record's really good. Look, his first up run at Wanganui was super. Naran Palmer takes a kilo off. He hasn't won at Wellington, this horse, but I think Saturday's a great each-way chance.
There you go, that's our look at Trentham, and as Leith already mentioned with LJ, there's an odd surge and it's available on each and every race out of Trentham this Saturday, so get involved with the action. Their first race, 11:30 AM, trackside 1. Once again this weekend we have more Kiwis competing in Australia, and we're back off to Eagle Farm for the Gunsing Classic Stakes, and this is race number 5 on the program. Razor's favourite at $5, Invincible Spy at $6.50, and then you've got Geriatrics, one of the Kiwis, at $7, and Mary Shan, there she is at 11s for Andrew Forsman. Let's take you firstly to Geriatrics. So he was brilliant off the back of his win at Rotorua at Leith and was really good here.
Yeah, he was really good. Mick D rode on this occasion, so obviously he's had a prior engagement to the Danny O'Brien trained horse. Craig William jumps on. Look, he was super his last 2 runs. He's travelled over there good. Andrew Scott's really happy with him. Look, he's suited to the Eagle Farm track as well.
Stuck under their guard, didn't he? Got scratched out of the big race and they put up, what was it, $12? They didn't respect him very highly, but they will after that. He's a horse, big rap early, had a flat patch, and then really has, at the back end of his 3-year-old season, started to go through the gear. So he's clearly going on an upward plane, this horse. So he's got to be respected on Saturday, and I think he's really well suited to that racetrack as well.
Yeah, like you say, Bevan, like missing that Fred Best Classic might have been a blessing. He got down into easier grade, he gets the kill. He's now won 4 of 10, and by all accounts, he's progressed really nicely into this one as well. So, you know, just on what he's been doing, he's got to be a contender in this.
Mary Shan is obviously a big player in this particular race as well. We know her quality. I'm not sure you'd find a tougher 3-year-old. Like, hasn't quite got the goals that maybe they expected, but gee, tough.
Yeah, she's been to a few dances, obviously. Look, obviously this field's pretty weak compared to the Group 3 she runs against this week. Look, I know Andrew Forsman, he's really happy how she's travelled over. I think she's overs. I don't think there's much between Geriatrics and her. They've met each other only once at Te Rapa, and there was sort of there was a half a length between them. So, look, she's drawn out a little bit at 14. The track's going to get back to that good 4, but there's been a little bit of money for her already. She's 14s into 11s, so it's great for the Albion Orders to have 2 runners in the race.
Absolutely, and she's gone really well. Like, that was on a pretty testing track at Pukekohe, and she slayed them. But her best form has been on superior ground to that. So, yeah, real respect around the Kiwis, especially on the great Singlar Creek win so well last week, and hopefully we can continue. I'm going to go Geriatrics on top. Bevan, how about you? Who'd you put on top in the Gunsing?
I actually went with Razors. Go back through the record, and there's a couple of placings in pretty good company, good black type company. James Cummings, J Mac aboard, sort of a combination I can't sort of ignore, albeit the form in this race isn't the strongest that you'll find in Australia, so I do think the 2 Kiwis will frank up here nicely.
Yeah, it's a great race for both of them. It's a Group 3 race, so I think Mary Shan, she's a good overs, $3, and you're sort of getting $3.70 a place, so Tyler Schiller on, he's going to give her a good ride from 14, but she gets back anyway, so she'll be hitting the line late. That's
what the guys are liking, and again, we have the bonus back in play, not only at Trentham, at Te Rapa, but across Rosehill and Eagle Farm as well on the first 4 races. And again, good luck to the Kiwis. Let's hope we can beat the Aussies again this weekend. Time time to find our best bets for the weekend. Leith, who's your best this week?
Well, I need to find one, Pip. I'm going to take you to Wellington, race 1, Pokuru Gold. Look, I'm a little bit surprised. He's odd surge. He's at $2.20. Najam Palmer gets on this week. He gets in with 57.5 kilos, barrier 5. Look, obviously Alan Sherrick's got a good hand in the race, but look, this horse has got a will to win. He's won 3 from 3, and hopefully we get one right this week.
Well, we might, but you'll get a phone call from Alan Sherrick. That's $1.01 once he watches this show back and sees you're tipping against his ones. Forstian Bargain. That was really good, fresh up this preparation. I love the fact that it's had one run at Trentham. Look, Bruno has good form ones out of that great Pakawa race. And can run a race, but just question marks on the very deep track conditions. So I'm going with Forstian Bargain as my best.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Cossack. I know he's short in a jumps race, which we're testing, and he's second up, and there's all those jumps in front of him. But just looking forward to seeing him go around to the Waikato Steeples, and I've made him my best of the weekend, Pip.
And I'm going to try and keep my greyhound form going and go with Miss Rangiora in race number 10 at Whanganui. She'll be short, chuck her through your multi. She drops back to the sprint, and she should be winning on Friday night. So that's what we're liking as our best. I'll start us off. Trump card for the Whale, also at Addington on Friday night. Pokuru Gold at Trentham for Leith. Forstian Bargain for Bevan, and the Cossack for Aidan. So that completes the show again. Nice to have you in studio, Bevan, joining us for a change. Leith as well, and Aidan, I hope you've enjoyed the action. We've found you the winners. We'll catch you back next week.